A shadow moves quietly in the corners of your life, unseen yet deliberate, nudging events, shaping words, guiding outcomes you may never notice. Some call it coincidence, others call it fate. But for the chosen ones, it is a test, subtle forces seeking to push you off your path, to unbalance the mind that walks with purpose. Today, we explore the ways unseen intentions can try to displace the strong, the focused, the ones meant to rise. There are layers beneath ordinary life where energy flows, decisions ripple, and influence travels silently. Those who are aware sense it. Those who are not become caught, confused, or misled. In this video, you will discover ancient Shaolin wisdom that has been practiced in silence for centuries. You will learn how stillness becomes armor, how discipline fortifies the mind, and how observation of subtle currents transforms vulnerability into strength. We will delve into mindfulness techniques that sharpen awareness, revealing the hidden manipulations that others may attempt. You will uncover principles that allow a chosen one to remain grounded even when the world seems determined to sway them. You will also encounter lessons rarely spoken of, the sacred power of strategic patience, the way adversity becomes insight, and the inner sovereignty that cannot be shaken by external schemes. By the end, you will see how every attempt to move you is also an opportunity to rise higher, to master yourself, and to claim your rightful place with calm clarity. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire, where ancient teachings meet modern awareness. Stay with me through every word, absorb the truths that awaken the inner warrior, and subscribe now to walk this path together. In the silence between breaths, the world whispers its secrets. Many move through life believing battles are fought with force, with visible struggle, yet the greatest conflicts are hidden, unfolding in the spaces unseen. Shaolin masters have long known this truth. The mind that perceives only the obvious is blind to the currents that shape reality. There are energies that flow beneath every word, behind every gesture. A glance, a tone, a suggestion, each carries weight far beyond its surface. Those who understand these hidden forces do not react in fear, nor do they strike hastily. They watch, they listen, they feel. Awareness becomes a lens through which deception cannot pass unnoticed. Mindfulness is the key that unlocks this perception. To sit in stillness, observing thoughts as clouds drifting across the mind, is not idleness, it is preparation. The subtle movements of intention, the quiet ripples of influence, become visible to those who have trained themselves to notice. When others attempt to sway, manipulate, or undermine, the chosen one senses it, not as paranoia, but as clarity. Every action around you tells a story, every energy leaves a trace. I have seen it in the temples, in the forested courtyards, where monks practice in silence. A moment of stillness reveals the patterns others fail to see. Someone's kindness may mask control. A sudden change in tone may conceal a plan. Awareness allows you to navigate these layers without being ensnared, to move like water around obstacles, and to remain unshaken in the currents of unseen influence. The world tests those who are awake, not always with fire or blade, but with subtlety, with intention, with shadows that move quietly. To recognize them is to take the first step toward mastery. Awareness becomes not just protection, but a path to understanding the hidden architecture of life itself. Emotions are the invisible threads that connect us to the world, yet they are also the threads others can pull to unbalance the mind. In every encounter, there are subtle attempts to provoke, to disturb, to sway decisions. Those who act without awareness fall into patterns not of their own making, reacting to energies and intentions that are not theirs to carry. Shaolin teachings remind us that the mind, disciplined and serene, is stronger than any external force. The heart that trembles at every insult or slight becomes a battlefield, while the heart that holds steady becomes a fortress. Emotional self-mastery is not the absence of feeling, but the presence of control, a calm awareness that observes without being swept away. Anger, fear, envy, and desire are recognized, acknowledged, and returned to their place, like water flowing back into a riverbed. Discipline is the foundation of this armor. Daily practice of meditation, mindful breathing, and reflection trains the mind to respond rather than react. In the quiet of early morning or the stillness of evening, the warrior turns inward, meeting the storm before it reaches the surface. The more the mind is strengthened through deliberate practice, the less power external provocations hold. Equanimity becomes the shield stronger than steel. It is not rigid but fluid, allowing movement without fracture, presence without distraction. When words are meant to wound, when actions are designed to unsettle, the calm mind simply observes. Energy intended to manipulate bounces off, leaving the inner core intact. Over time, this mastery transforms perception. What once caused turmoil now becomes insight. The outer world may shift and attempt to challenge, but the inner citadel remains unshaken. True strength is never in striking first. It is in standing steady, balanced, and serene, letting the currents of life flow around the mind that has learned to hold itself firmly yet gently at the center of all things. There is a quiet strength in stillness that the untrained mind often overlooks. In the rush to act, to respond, to prove, many stumble into traps set by forces they cannot yet see. The ancient Shaolin masters understood that true power often lies not in movement but in measured pause. Stillness is not emptiness, it is presence, attentive, aware, and prepared. When tension rises, when intentions are unclear, retreating into silence becomes a strategy, not a surrender. In those moments, the mind becomes like a calm pond, reflecting everything around it without distortion. The ripples of emotion and deception cannot unsettle the still surface. Observation replaces impulse, listening replaces speaking, patience replaces haste. In the courtyards of the temples, monks practice motionless forms, holding postures for hours, cultivating a stillness that extends beyond the body into thought and awareness. This discipline teaches that clarity emerges when action is withheld until it is fully warranted. By stepping back, by observing without interference, the patterns of intention, manipulation, and energy reveal themselves naturally. The motives of others, subtle as they are, become visible to the mind that is quiet enough to see them. Stillness also strengthens the spirit. When the world presses and provocation arrives, the practiced mind does not react blindly. It discerns, it measures, it waits. In this space between stimulus and response, choice appears. The wise understand that timing is as important as strength. Movement without insight is wasted energy, while carefully chosen action carries the weight of purpose. Non-action, when wielded with understanding, becomes a form of mastery. It is a shield, a teacher, and a weapon. In the calm of strategic stillness, the chosen one learns to stand unshaken, to perceive the hidden currents of life, and to move only when the path is clear and aligned with true intention. Strength that endures begins quietly, long before it is tested by the world. In the early hours of dawn, when the air is still and the mind is unburdened, the Shaolin monk rises, not for glory nor for recognition, but for the discipline of presence. Each motion, each breath, each ritual is a thread woven into a fabric of inner resilience. Daily practice forms the foundation of this unshakable strength. Meditation trains the mind to settle, to observe without distraction, to remain centered even when chaos gathers at the edges of perception. Physical exercises cultivate endurance and agility, but more importantly, they teach patience, attention, and control. Every movement becomes a dialogue between body and mind, a lesson in consistency and commitment. Discipline transforms ordinary actions into acts of mastery. Eating, walking, training, resting, all are opportunities to practice awareness and self-command. A mind that has been conditioned through repetition and intention becomes impervious to impulsive fear or desire. A body trained in alignment and balance carries the same strength into every encounter. Together, they form an armor that cannot be pierced by fleeting schemes, manipulation, or subtle threats. In the Shaolin tradition, the greatest battles are not won with speed or force, but with steadiness and preparation. A monk may confront deception, temptation, or intimidation, yet remain unmoved, guided by the inner strength cultivated through countless hours of discipline. This is a power few recognize because it is silent, internal, and often invisible to the observer. Through ritual, meditation, and mindful practice, The chosen one builds a citadel within. The outer world may shift, people may scheme, and circumstances may challenge, but the disciplined mind and body remain anchored. Inner strength becomes both a refuge and a sword, a quiet, enduring force that transforms every obstacle into an opportunity to rise higher, to remain steadfast, and to move through life with clarity and purpose. The world rarely shows its intentions openly. Often, those who seek to disrupt, manipulate, or displace do so behind masks of kindness, guidance, or opportunity. The smile that conceals envy, the advice that hides control, the offer that binds obligation, these are the subtleties that escape the untrained eye. Shaolin masters teach that the truth of a person is rarely found in words alone, it is revealed in motion, energy, and consistent behavior. Observing behavior becomes a form of meditation. Every gesture, every pause, every choice speaks volumes to the one who watches with clarity. The body cannot lie in the same way the tongue can. The patterns of movement, the tone of energy, the rhythm of interaction all reveal the intentions that are otherwise veiled. A chosen one learns to feel these currents, to sense when a path is being subtly altered or when influence is being applied without notice. This awareness requires patience and discipline. Quick judgment clouds perception, reaction without observation invites error. By cultivating calm attention, one begins to see beyond the mask to the intention beneath. A casual comment may carry expectation, a friendly suggestion may demand allegiance, a generous hand may bind with unseen threats. Recognizing these veils is not cynicism, it is mastery. It is the ability to navigate life without being manipulated, to move with awareness rather than impulse, and to maintain sovereignty over one's mind and choices. Shaolin wisdom teaches that the world presents lessons in disguise. By studying energy rather than appearances, patterns rather than words, the chosen one discerns truth in the midst of deception. The masks of others become transparent, and with each observation, the inner eye sharpens. In this clarity, there is power. The power to act with intention, to protect the center, and to step forward in alignment with purpose, untouched by the illusions woven around the unwary. True strength is measured not only by what is held, but by what is released. When the currents of life attempt to push, pull, or displace, the instinct may be to cling tighter, to resist with force or anger. Yet Shaolin wisdom teaches that such resistance often amplifies the very pressure one seeks to withstand. The mind that grasps too tightly becomes brittle, and the heart that fears loss invites suffering. Non-attachment is not surrender, it is a centered awareness, a quiet confidence that remains unshaken while the world shifts around it. Like a tree rooted deeply in stone, the chosen one does not collapse when winds blow, yet bends with the current, conserving energy and maintaining alignment. By observing events without obsession, by holding presence instead of panic, one neutralizes the influence of external pressures. This principle extends to every aspect of life. Positions, possessions, relationships, and even recognition are transient. Clinging to them creates vulnerability. A mind trained in non-attachment does not flee from challenge, nor does it fight every wave. Instead, it discerns when action is necessary and when patience serves better. The strength lies in clarity, not control, in observation, not compulsion. Daily practice of meditation, reflection, and disciplined awareness cultivates this equilibrium. Each moment of letting go of fear, each breath that releases attachment, reinforces an inner sovereignty that cannot be stolen. The chosen one learns that influence is only possible over a mind that struggles, and freedom is found in holding one's center regardless of the storm outside. Through non-attachment, obstacles transform from threats into mirrors, opportunities to observe, adapt, and rise without resistance. The world may attempt to shift, remove, or unsettle, yet the one who masters this principle moves like water, unconstrained, fluid, and unshakable, anchored in the quiet strength of the self that is complete, whole, and aware. Adversity often arrives cloaked in discomfort, disguised as conflict, challenge, or opposition. The world may present obstacles that seem designed to unsettle, Yet Shaolin wisdom teaches that these moments are mirrors, reflecting the corners of the mind and spirit that remain unpolished. Every act against you, whether subtle or overt, carries insight if observed with clarity and patience. When someone seeks to displace, undermine, or provoke, it is not only a test of strength, but a lesson in perception. The reaction they elicit, the tension they create, reveals vulnerabilities within. Blind spots, insecurities, or unexamined patterns become visible when tested. The chosen one does not view opposition as mere hostility. It becomes an opportunity to examine the self with honesty, to confront internal weaknesses before external forces claim them. Shaolin philosophy frames these challenges not as threats, but as teachers. In the courtyards of the temple, monks learn to move through resistance, to anticipate imbalance, and to transform tension into understanding. A push from without becomes a lesson from within. By observing intention without attachment, by watching energy without immediate reaction, one can turn conflict into clarity. This practice requires discipline and presence. Each encounter is a chance to refine awareness, to cultivate patience, and to strengthen the mind against impulsive judgment. The insight gained through opposition teaches discernment, teaches restraint, and ultimately deepens self-mastery. Through this lens, life itself becomes a training ground. Opposition ceases to be frightening, and challenge ceases to be obstruction. Each attempt to displace the chosen one becomes a doorway into deeper understanding, a reflection of the inner landscape waiting to be known. Mastery emerges not from avoiding difficulty, but from moving through it with calm attention, transforming every act against you into a step along the path of wisdom and inner strength. The mind is the battlefield often unseen, where victories are claimed long before the body moves. Every thought shapes perception, and every perception colors reality. Those who seek to influence, deceive, or control understand this. They target not the body but the mind, planting seeds of doubt, fear, or confusion. The chosen one, however, builds a sanctuary within, a place where clarity reigns and influence falters. Silent mastery begins with observation. The mind, left untended, drifts like a river in flood, swept by currents of impulse and suggestion. Through mindfulness, through meditation practiced in the quiet hours, the river slows. Awareness settles on each thought, allowing it to rise, be recognized, and pass without disturbance. Patterns of manipulation lose their hold, for a mind trained in stillness does not grasp at shadows or illusions. Shaolin teachings emphasize that true power lies in the ability to remain present. External attempts to provoke, confuse, or sway are rendered powerless before a calm, disciplined consciousness. The mind becomes a fortress, not through walls of aggression, but through careful cultivation of focus, clarity, and serenity. Even in the face of chaos, the chosen one observes without reaction, measures without judgment, and responds only when fully aligned with truth. This silent mastery is a lifelong practice. Each moment of mindfulness reinforces the inner citadel. Each breath taken with attention strengthens its foundation. The world may attempt to storm the gates with words, actions, or subtle influence, yet a mind trained in quiet observation remains impervious. In this stillness, power is born, not loud or aggressive, but absolute. A mind that cannot be shaken is the ultimate weapon. It sees the currents of energy that others cannot perceive. It navigates deception with calm certainty. It holds space for truth, clarity, and purpose. In cultivating this silent mastery, the chosen one walks through life unmovable, aware and sovereign, carrying the strength of a fortress that no outside force can breach. True mastery is revealed not in constant motion, but in the choice to act with intention. Life presents countless moments where energy gathers, opportunities appear, and challenges demand response. The untrained mind reacts hastily, guided by impulse or fear. The chosen one, however, waits with patience, observing, measuring, and preparing. Action is not random. It is deliberate, precise, and aligned with truth. Shaolin teachings teach that timing is as essential as strength. A strike too soon may falter. Hesitation may allow opportunity to pass. The disciplined mind learns to sense the subtle shift in energy, the quiet signal that the moment has arrived. Preparation, reflection, and awareness converge, creating a window in which action becomes not only effective but inevitable. Every movement is measured, every decision weighted with clarity. This art of strategic action extends beyond combat or physical skill. In life, challenges often come cloaked in deception or subtle manipulation. To act without alignment is to give power to those who seek to unsettle. To act with precision, rooted in inner clarity and purpose, ensures that influence cannot sway the mind, and schemes cannot displace the resolute. Strength is not shown in constant struggle, but in the quiet certainty to move when the moment is truly right. The path of preparation is long, and discipline is rigorous. Meditation, observation, and practice sharpen perception, allowing the chosen one to discern the true from the false, the fleeting from the enduring. When the moment calls, the response flows naturally, like water following the contours of a riverbed. There is no hesitation, no wasted energy, only the alignment of intention, action, and truth. In this way, mastery transforms the seemingly ordinary into the extraordinary. Strategic action becomes an extension of inner discipline, a reflection of awareness, and a demonstration of sovereignty over one's path. Those who have cultivated patience and clarity cannot be removed or diverted, for they act in harmony with the forces of life itself. When the mind is clear and the heart steady, no external force can unsettle the chosen one. True strength begins with knowing oneself, not the image presented to the world, nor the expectations imposed by others, but the core of identity that remains constant beneath shifting circumstances. Shaolin masters call this internal sovereignty, a state in which your presence, your purpose, and your path are earned from within, independent of external validation. Anchoring in purpose transforms every action into alignment. Daily rituals, meditation, and mindful practice become more than discipline. They become expressions of intent, a bridge connecting the inner self to the greater path. Each step taken with awareness, each choice made in fidelity to higher purpose, reinforces a sense of groundedness that cannot be shaken by manipulation, conflict, or circumstance. The world may attempt to divert, to challenge, or to remove, yet the one anchored in identity moves with quiet certainty, unmoved by the tides of opinion or force. This anchoring requires deep reflection and consistent practice. The chosen one examines motivations, confronts weaknesses, and cultivates virtues, allowing identity to be forged in truth rather than shaped by influence. The strength that emerges is subtle but unyielding. It is not shown through dominance or assertion, but through the calm assurance of presence, the unwavering focus of one who knows why they walk the path they do. When purpose becomes the compass, distractions and schemes lose their power. Attempts to displace or unsettle simply flow around the anchored self. Every ritual, every act of mindfulness, every moment of reflection reinforces this sacred inner foundation. In this way, sovereignty is claimed not through force but through mastery of self. The chosen one stands firm, not because the world yields, but because the center within is immovable, radiant, and aligned with the truth of who they are meant to be. Life will always present challenges, some subtle, some obvious, designed to test your focus, patience, and resolve. People, circumstances, and unseen forces may try to dislodge you from your path, but the strength you cultivate within becomes your true protection. Awareness, emotional mastery, stillness, disciplined practice, and a clear sense of purpose build an inner fortress that cannot be shaken by external schemes. Shaolin wisdom reminds us that the ultimate shield is mastery of self. When the mind is calm, disciplined, and centered, no deception, manipulation, or chaos can penetrate. Every obstacle becomes a teacher. Every attempt to sway you becomes an opportunity to strengthen your awareness and resilience. The chosen ones are not measured by recognition, approval, or circumstances. They are defined by the quiet power of their inner strength, the clarity of their focus, and the unwavering steadiness of their spirit. Carry this understanding into your daily life. Observe without reaction, act with intention, and anchor yourself in truth and purpose. Let stillness guide your mind. Let discipline fortify your spirit, and let insight shape your choices. In doing so, you transform challenge into growth, opposition into wisdom, and uncertainty into calm strength. Thank you for walking this path with us. If these teachings resonate, embrace them in your life and allow them to guide your journey. For more lessons in ancient wisdom, mindfulness, and self-mastery, like this video and subscribe to our channel, Shaolin Soulfire. Let your practice be steady, your mind be clear, and your heart remain serene.